Hey, so in lieu of me waiting for 9 submissions coming back from both CGC and CBCS's abyss of hell, I have been picking up some other things here and there, and let's talk about a couple of them. Stick around. Welcome back, family. Thank you so much for joining yet again. If you've been watching my recent videos, you know what this is all about, and where I am, and when I am, and who I am, and what's going on. So yeah, I do collect other things other than comic books. I collect Funkos, not as extensively, but more to the point. I mean, I collect a lot of different Funkos, but the ones that I really like the best are my Stitch Funkos, because hey, if you haven't figured it out yet, I'm kind of a Stitch nut. So I would like to at some point get all the Stitch ones, but I'm happy with the ones that I've got. I've got my Elvis Stitch from Hot Topic. If you're familiar with any of the Stitches, and you know that a lot of these are not the easiest ones in the world to get. Some of them are. This one is the Entertainment Earth exclusive Diamond Stitch. He's so glittery, and he's smiling. Yay. Okay, we have a Flocked Stitch, which was only available at Target, which means they made 4 billion of them. If you're not familiar with Flocked means, it's velvet on it, but it makes it feel like it actually has fur instead of just plastic. But it's a layer of velvet. I have my larger one, Stitch with Ducks. I fell in love with this one as soon as I saw it, which was a box lunch exclusive. It's a larger one, obviously. And the one that actually just came in this week, and I've been waiting because I pre-ordered this for a while. Walt Disney World is celebrating their 50th anniversary, and they have the People Mover Funkos, and everyone is, let's see, which ones do they have? They have Mickey, Pluto, Minnie, and those are all, they print as many as possible, and which one is, of course, the exclusive one that you have to, it's limited edition, the one that I want, which is Stitch on a People Mover. So what made me start talking about Funkos in general? Because I actually got a Funko in this week, which has nothing to do with Stitch. It doesn't. But it's really cool. Okay, we're going back to the Marvel Universe. We're going to Daredevil Cat. Well, this was the character, the Funko that was released with the Daredevil series before he had his own series, The Punisher. And can you say signed and inscribed by John Bernthal? It says 1 batch, 2 batch, penny, and dime. Signed in blood red, John Bernthal, with, of course, the JSA verification and serial numbered. Haha. Yeah, I got this in, and I actually had it delivered at work. The box comes in, it's this big. And I go into the office or something, and hey, a package came for you. I'm like, a package? I completely forgot all about this. I went through GalaxyCon, so I paid, and I know I could have probably gotten something cheaper on eBay, or taken the time and gone to the Fandemic tour, and he was there, but I couldn't guarantee I was going to, and I wanted it to say what I wanted it to say: 1 batch, 2 batch, penny, and dime, and in red. I just thought that would look cool, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So I get the package, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is. I pick it up, and I'm like, what's in here? Air? They use the popcorn peanuts. And I look, return address, GalaxyCon. I squeaked. The secretary starts laughing. She goes, I thought you'd be geeking out at that. I told my boss, I might be a geek, but I own it. So yeah, I was really, really happy about that. And I figured I got to at least show you this. But at the same time, I did have 3 books come in the last couple of weeks. One came in just a couple of days ago. This one came in about a week and a half ago, and I was talking about this. This was on one of my Remember Me's. It's a good time to pick it up. I got this one off of eBay, $59.95. An extra copy of Something is Killing the Children, #1, and a 9.8. The foil, the free local comic shop day edition, which was the foil. This is going to be a series, and this book will again take off. And it's not going to be a $500 book, but it goes up to $120, $130. I can use that as trade bait to get something else. That's fine. I got 2 copies of it. This book went extremely cheap on eBay early in the morning. I think the shipping was more than the book itself. And just in case it does do something, the dark cover on it, it's a copy of Eat the Rich #1 and a 9.8. So it's an interesting cover. In case it ever does become a series or option or anything else like that, I'm ready for it. And yeah, those are two not awesome books. The next one is this one. I could not believe I got it for the price I did. I actually put in a max bid much higher than I actually wanted. And I did not expect that I would be... I mean, I always wanted to get one. And I had in my head that I wanted a minimum grade of an 8. So when I had the opportunity to get Star Wars 1 in a 9.0, I did not hesitate. And I'm loving this book. And this is going right up on the wall. And when I got this book, I started thinking about it. That I have number 1, I have number 2, I have number 42, I have 43 and 39 out for grading, which means the other real key books that I got to get are 68, 107, and other than that, nothing terribly expensive. This is going to be my first run. This is going to be the first time I'm going to try to complete a run of books, and I'm going to try to complete them all slabbed. And I know that's a lot of books. I'm not expecting to... If I can get it done by the end of the year, I'd be extremely happy, but I doubt it. I'm not focusing on the grade, okay? If I have the option of getting a 9.8, I'll get it. But if I see a book that I think it presents well and it's a 5.0, I'm going to get it. Okay, I'm not driven by the grade numbers. Matter of fact, the 42 is a 4.5. Okay, and it's a 4.5 and it's a newsstand edition, 1980. It's about 80% of the books were newsstand editions at that time. But that was actually from my very first submission, and I learned a lot from that. I thought that was going to be more like a 7.5, 8. Yeah, so when it has a giant water stain on it, it kind of takes down the grade. I learned. So anyway, that's not actually even my book. It's that's the missus. So if I could try to buy another copy, but I can't sell that one because she'll kill me. That's her book. That's her book. She's got more books than she thinks. Matter of fact, I made a box for her, and I put her slabs and her books in it. She opens it and goes, "Wow, I have a lot of stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. You have some really good stuff in there too." But it's part of the family. And I don't mean just the Ohana Comics family. That doesn't mean that you guys can come here and say, "Hey, I'm family. I want one too." But it's part of our family that we're building here. Are not just our collection and our memories, but also an investment that someday, when I kick the bucket, she'll have something to sell. I'm sure there's a couple books I'm going to want in the casket with me. That Star Wars 1 might be one of them. That's how much that this freaked me out when I got it. So what other hobbies do you guys pick up? Do you collect Funkos? Do you collect Magic the Gathering? Do you collect Pokemon? Do you collect what's the name of that book? MetaZoo. Yeah, I mean that's another thing that I have. If anybody's into MetaZoo, there's a book that's behind me that it's very hard to see. It's in between my Someone is Grilling the Chicken, and my Cara Dune figure before they grabbed that one off the shelf. Put this over here for a second so I don't destroy it. But MetaZoo is, I guess it's kind of like Pokemon cards, but when they did their Kickstarter to get everything started, they did a comic book, a large book actually, and the first print, was limited to 1,000 copies. And last time I checked, these were going for like $500-600 on eBay. If you are going to look for one, you can get them for less than that. Make sure that it has the undisturbed foil holographic seal to be in the original poly bag. The condition of the poly bag also does matter too. I actually got 2 copies of this when it first came out. I think, give me a second, let me think. I paid $250 for 2 copies. And then 3 months later, I sold one copy for $400. So the way I looked at it is, I've almost doubled my money, and I'm keeping a copy for myself. So that's where people talk about letting the hobby fund itself. That's a prime example of it. A prime example of where people mess up is you buy these books with the intention of flipping them, and then you can't part with them. And I've talked to a lot of people that have that exact same problem where they get... Oh, I put it over here. I don't even know where I put stuff. They get books with the intention of flipping them. And then they don't, because they become attached to them. And that's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with becoming attached to your comics. It's just that... Wow. This is actually kind of tough. Because on one hand, if you're trying to set yourself a goal, like let's just say I wanted to get Spider-Man #1 in a decent condition, and I'm looking at dropping $10,000 on it. And I say decent, I mean like a 2. Just something that presents decently, you know, not a coverless or a return or water stain or something. You know, I'll take creases and stuff as long as it looks good. I'll take a detached cover as long as it looks good in the slab, you know. But if half the cover's ripped off, I'm not. No. If my goal is to spend $10,000 on a Spider-Man #1, I don't want to take $10,000 out of my bank account. Okay, my goal my theory that I set for myself is I'm going to buy this book for $50. And 2 months from now, when the trailer comes out, I'm going to sell it for $300. And I'm going to take that $300 and I'm going to buy this book, and this book. And I'm going to wait until this comes out, and I'm going to sell those, and I'll have 1,000. And hey, that book that I bought on New Comic Book Day, which for $3.99 is now selling for $100. I can sell that book, and I can put that towards the kitty, or I can use that to buy this. And in the meantime, also collecting other books for myself. You're building your collection. That's where people are talking about having the hobby fund itself. The problem is, you get a book for $50, and next thing you know, the trailer drops and it goes up to $300. You're kind of looking at it like, but it's really cool that I own this book. I don't want to sell it. Perfect example of that is Star Wars Heir to the Empire #1. I bought that when the raw copies in mint condition, near mint condition, were selling for $50. And I saw this copy. It looked really good. And the dealer would not go less than $60. I'm like, nobody has this for $60. He said, this is a 9.8. It is. You don't, it's ready for submission right now. No cleaning, no pressing. Send it. You'll get a 9.8. I got a 9.8. He was right. So I put the extra $10 into that, and I got the, with submission and return shipping and everything, I'm in for about $100 for an Heir to the Empire 9.8. That's over $1,000. Okay, when Thrawn actually appears, it's probably going to shoot up to 2. I can't sell that book. I don't care how much I want that Spider-Man #1. I mean, it's right there. I can almost reach it, but I can't because I'm now in love with that book. I love the fact that I got that for just that price. The Clone Wars #1. If any of you watch the other videos, you understand. If I sell that, my wife will castrate me. Okay. The Kanan, when I and the Invincible Iron Man #9, when I pulled those out of the box as 9.8s because I sent those in to be graded, I was so elated that I got a 9.8. I look at them like, I don't care what my end game is. I can't sell those books. I did a show and I sold my Fantastic Four #50, and I doubled what I made on it. What I paid for it. It was like, okay, this is a no-brainer. I bought it for $2. I sold it for $4. Great. As soon as I sold it, I'm like, I missed my book. I don't want that book go. And I went out and I bought a 3.5 for what I just sold the 4 for. So in theory, I lost. I went down a grade on that book. Oh, it's on the plastic. I'm looking at the book and I see a scratch on it. I'm like, wait, why does that cover have a scratch? But it's in a plastic, and the plastic is scratched, not the Slab itself. So, do you guys have the same kind of problems? Do you want to sell your books and then you feel that you become emotionally attached to them? And is that really a bad thing? I mean, yes, I at this pace, I'll never... I'm saving up money slower than that book is appreciating in value. So at this rate, I will never own a Spider-Man #1. But am I really willing to sacrifice my entire collection to get one? I'll feel good about that and bad about that. Is it really that bad? I mean, sometimes I walk by over here and I look, and I'm like, yeah, I really like my collection. I really do. I take enjoyment out of it. So maybe that should be my goal. Yeah, I mean, it's an idea to have a Spider-Man #1, but my goal is to enjoy my collection. So hopefully if you guys are not hitting your goals, you can at least take an appreciation in what you do have and take a little solace and knowledge and everything else. Guys, don't forget to check out last week's and this week's New Comic Book Day videos. Great books to be being given away. Looking forward to seeing you again very, very soon. Until I do, mahalo.